All right, here now with Lydia Ko after her second round here at the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions. Just what went into this bogey-free round today, especially that, the eagle on 9?
Yeah, I played really solid. I think straight from the get-go, I hit a really good shot into number 1. And yesterday, I felt like I drove it pretty solid, but my irons weren't as sharp. So to kind of go on the first hole and hit it down your target was a good start. And I just tried to keep it simple and give myself a lot of good opportunities and in ways, I was giving myself a lot of birdie chances. So I felt like I left a few out there, but, it wasn't easy, especially the wind picking up after 9 holes. So that's going to be the mindset for the next couple of days. But definitely glad that I'm done and, it's still raining outside, but a good start to the season.
I was just going to say, it seems like as you played your round, you went through every, kind of weather you could have. Just did that change your game plan at all? And how were you able to kind of react to the different elements that were being thrown at you?
Yeah, I think on the front 9, it was a lot calmer than I thought it was going to be. When I saw the weather forecast, I knew it was going to be windier than yesterday, but there was almost like barely any wind, like half a club winds. But we got to 10 and then I was about to hit my second shot and you could definitely feel that it had picked up a lot. Now 18 is probably not an easy hole to start off with, but when it's windy and raining, those are 2 pretty tough conditions to play in. And in my head before my second shot, I didn't know if I should wait a little and kind of see if the rain was going to calm down a little bit. But I was like, I got to get this shot over and done with and I need to hit the shot anyway. So I just committed to it and set myself a good birdie opportunity. And always nice to finish off any round with a birdie on the last.
Absolutely. Yeah,
what were your clubs into 9 and 18 and how close did you hit it?
I had a 3-wood into 9 and then a 4 hybrid into 18.
And how close were the?
I think it was around 9 feet on 9 and then 15,
15 feet.
On.
In the swing work you've done, new coach, do you feel a boost in your confidence?
I think Grant Thornton helped a lot. We did a lot of good work, I think, the week prior to Grant Thornton with my coach flying over and spending some time here out at Lake Nona. And I think even though you do good work, at the end of the day, you got to pull it off and make that work when you're playing competitive rounds. And even though it was a unique format at Grant Thornton, I think it was a really beneficial week for me to kind of be in positions where I was uncomfortable and still be able to commit to my shots. And how I finished and some of the shots that I hit coming down the stretch kind of gave me a sigh of relief that, hey, what I'm working on is good. So I just got to keep doing those things and flesh out some of the bad every day. And if I can improve minimal amounts day by day or by week or by month, I'm moving in the right direction. And I just got to keep it simple, and sometimes I just overcomplicate things. So it's make sure that I'm not my worst enemy when I'm out there. Yeah.
What's the advantage to playing in your backyard, and maybe what's the disadvantage to having a tournament right here?
The advantage is I've hit it in a lot of spots. I've hit it in some questionable areas, hit it in some good spots. I don't think I've ever hit it as close as I did on number 9, so that was something new. I know some areas are tougher to read, the greens wise, and even today I was still I don't know if this putt's breaking left or right, and imagine other people. So it's just, I think there are advantages because some areas might be a little bit more difficult, so you just pay a little bit more attention to it. But I think for 99%, it's always nice to be able to play where something you're comfortable, and luckily we've had the Game Bridge here, we've had the Tournament Champions here the past few years, so I'm sure some of the girls feel like they know the golf course well enough, just like me. But the disadvantages is sometimes I have forgotten to set my alarm once, and I turned up to the golf course a lot later than I normally do because I was so used to being at home, sleeping in my own bed. So I'm trying to not make that mistake this year. Yeah.
Some touring pros that have events at their home course have said that maybe one of the other things is that you see the course for 11 months and there's no setup, there's no grandstands, there's no bleachers, and nobody sets it up for a tournament on a recreational day. Does that affect you at all?
I think we as members here are very lucky that the superintendents and the team here do an unbelievable job all year round to keep the golf course in good shape as possible. Considering like sometimes we could get like really stormy days and rainy days, and those things like they can't control. But I think for most parts they're very thoughtful of us and like our preparation, and even not only just this week, like if we're heading into majors, they'll cut the greens a lot faster so that we're like preparing ourselves always for like top conditions. And I think we don't get that like at every golf course, so for the team out here to do that, it's very considerate of them to do that for us. And it is sometimes weird seeing like the biggest bleachers. You're not gonna miss that one, but it just kind of puts maybe a little bit more character to the hole. But in ways, because we know what tee boxes we play, and they have a certain tee boxes that they move up or keep. So like when we practice, I think for like maybe Leona, NASA, and I, or some of the other girls, like we'll most of the time play off the tee boxes that we play in the tournament. So it's not the same, but I think the team out here make it as close as possible for us so that we're always in good shape, not only for this event, but for other ones as well.
With the downturn in temperatures that is coming and wind and everything else, what's going to be the key to the weekend?
It's pretty much going to be like the Pro-Am. And that was very cold, and my ball was not flying very far. So I think just, keeping myself loose and warm is going to be key. And obviously when it's that cold, you end up not drinking that much, and, you're just trying to, like, your only focus is to, like, oh my God, like, I got to stay warm. So I think just being mentally prepared, and this week always seems to be like the coldest week in Orlando, so in ways I think all of us that have been out here, whether it's the celebrities or the pros, have kind of experienced the cold by now. So we've been lucky with the weather the last couple of days, so we just have to play with what we get.
All right, we'll go last one here with Sarah.
Just, I think one of my favorite things of last year, I know everybody wanted to talk about what was going on, but the way you handle it was so cool to me. You got on your Instagram, I felt like a couple times, and were like, guys, it's fine, chill. How have you learned to kind of do that and be, kind of give yourself some grace publicly and really obviously use it as fuel for this season?
Yeah, I think, I think there were a lot of rounds I came off last year, and I was crying because I was like, I don't know what's going on, and I feel like I'm not playing that bad, but why can't I even break par? And I think my round at like Evian was like the first under par, or like at the US Open was like the first under par round I had in a few rounds. And obviously you don't want to be in that position even when you're practicing, yet alone when you're actually competitively playing during the middle of the season. And it was frustrating, and I think I was lost, but I had a good team and family members that was able to kind of say, hey, like, it's okay, like, you're progressing. And sometimes I think when they said that, I was like, no, I'm not, but it's just good to have people that have belief in you. And sometimes, like, you can't see the changes when you're doing it like all the time, but over time you're able to kind of see the big picture. And I think the Asia swing, I started playing a lot better, and that was, I believe, all the work that I'd like done during the season to then. But it would be a lie to say like, hey, like all thumbs up, like life's good, like I'm good, missing the cut. Like no, that's like not true for anyone. But I think I've been very lucky with the people that have surrounded me to kind of help me say like, hey, you know what, even though you missed the cut, these bits were better. Why don't we focus on these areas a bit more? And I think that's what I've always been fortunate about.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, there are a couple things you